Hey everybody, sorry for the mess, but we did our meat shopping today, and my daughter and I are separating all the meat. And as I was doing it, I'm going to can the breakfast sausage, the round ones, and I said, well, I'll let my friends see, even though you might have seen me do this before, but I just wanted to make a little video about it. All right, so here we go. This is Swaggart's. I hope you guys can see this Swaggart's premium sausage. I hope I have this in the camera. Let me see. Yeah. So let me put on my gloves. And as you notice, we always have like a big box of vinyl gloves so we could. Lexi, that was my daughter. Okay. Now, what I want to show you guys is parchment paper. Okay. It's so hard doing it this way because I don't know if it's in or not. I guess it's in. We use parchment paper, and I literally just take some out and fold it. I take out like maybe 3 inches at a time, and I'll do like 3 of them, 3 or 4 3-inches, if that makes any sense. 3 or 4 3-inch strips. And what I'll do is I'll cut them. You really don't have to have them to necessarily fill the jar. As long as it goes down in between the meat, it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, some people, when I used to do this, I used to make circles and try to make it look all perfect. You don't have to do that. Okay, so anyway, I have 5 jars here. Let's get this back. I have 5 jars here. There we go. And I start doing them. And I said, I gotta tell my friends. I want to show my friends. All right, here we go. So I will just do a few. Okay, and you could use these too. Whenever you open it up, see, you could cut those. You can cut around circles, and you have your parchment paper, so to speak. I just make my own. Okay, so what I do is get a piece of your parchment paper and put the meat on it and drop it in. See, it doesn't necessarily have to be in a circle, because when you open this up and you use them anyway, they fall out. They all fall out. It's tough to get some dark marks on it. Oh, it's just like that. Crazy. And I usually put, like, I try to put 5 in each one. I think one time I used, oh, you could do 5 or 6, because one time I used 8, and it was too much, and it kind of boiled over, and one of my jars didn't seal because of the grease. The grease, when it boils over, the grease goes underneath the lids. I hate how pork looks dark. There we go. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And sometimes I use the puncher to punch it down a little bit. You don't necessarily need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Throw this away. I'll put this over here. A couple boxes over here I need to throw away. And then after, well, you don't need to put one on the top if you don't have to, if you don't want to. Okay, and after that, now what happens is, maybe I will put one on the top. Let me get a couple more, because I actually, sometimes when you go in these, okay, the the top one is kind of curls up a little bit. like about canning is you can save all of your food. I once gave, I didn't want to say this, but I once gave somebody, um, I think it was like, I'm trying to think, I gave somebody one time uh, about 3 cases of food, these jars of food. Some were the quarts, and some were the pints. These are pints, wide mouth pints. You know, you can get. I like wide mouth pints for meat, so you can get your meat out whenever you're cooking. You shake it out. I gave somebody 3 boxes, 12 or 36, about 36 jars or more. Yeah, it had to be more of our food, our processed food. Because I really like this person, I wanted to help him out. You know, I've done it for a few people, in fact. Actually, even my son's one of them. Okay, so don't try to pinpoint who I'm talking about, right? And they threw them away. They threw all that food and all these jars for 12 jars is usually, it used to be like $14.99. It started out $12.99. Oh, our domus fell. It started out $12.99, and then as people, as the companies found out that everybody was these are my domus, we're gonna eat them today. Great leaves. But they found out that canners were catching on. They were watching us online, and they knew what we were doing and everything. And all of a sudden, the jars went to like $14, $15.99. Okay, and then it's $19.99 per 12. Okay, let's go maybe $16 for a box of 12. You know what I mean? Not only did they throw away hundreds of dollars of food, they threw away a lot of dollars of jars. You know what I mean? And because I go big. When I give, I go big. And I just don't tell anybody. I don't let everybody know, hey, I gave so-and-so food, you know. But my daughter and I, we're known for doing that. We just stay here in our house, mind our business, and don't bother anybody. But this is what I do. And you know, people don't appreciate what you put into it, okay? And as messy as this looks, we're clean. We cook clean. We're clean cooks. And yes, we have a cat, but we don't have cat hairs all over the place. We are literally clean cooks. I was a clean cook. My daughter is a clean cook. You know, our cat doesn't sit on a counter or the table. I remember one time I caught the cat on my table, and I was like, I screamed at that cat, and she hasn't done it since. One time, that was it. She's a good cat. And I don't eat behind animals. But anyway, yeah, I've had people throw this stuff away. I've had meats. I've had, I think I still have, yeah, I have meats. You guys saw my stuff. I have, if you can see it, I think, am I in there? I have meats. I have jellies. That's grape jelly that I made in 2023. I have eggs, vinegar, and sometimes hot sauce eggs. We do a lot of stuff. And people just give it away. We have onions. I do everything. I'm a rebel canner. I can just about whatever I can. I can whatever I can. Amen. But anywho, just wanted to let you guys see this. And now what I'll do is I will get, hopefully, paper towel. Everything's everywhere here. Our shopping days are really something. But I will get a couple paper towels. And hopefully, so I'm going to put my vinegar up. Let me see. Alright. And I will get paper towels and a small vinegar. Okay. Make sure it's, let me check. Let me check and make sure. Because they're starting to sell 4% vinegar. And a lot of people didn't realize it until one day somebody caught it. And you have to make sure it's 5% vinegar. Which is really weird. I don't see it on here. Let me see. Wow. Let me check something. I never know. Am I missing it? You guys seeing it? Hold on. Let me see the big one. this one has it. Or maybe I missed it on the other one. Okay, this is Iberia from Amazon or whatever. And as you can see, it says 5% acidity. Because what happens is these stores start selling 4%. And I put that red. Just noticed that. And maybe I missed it. You guys might have seen it. When you're making videos, weird stuff happens. But anyway, these stores start selling 4% acidity vinegar, and people's food were popping on their shelves because 4%. You have to have 5%. Okay. You have to have 5% vinegar. Oh, I kick out. Okay, to make it last, to make your food last, right? And then you wipe it. This one's a little messy, I believe. Yeah. I usually use small. I usually use smaller containers, so don't make fun of me because I'm using a big jug. It's the contra in me. I'm using big jugs. You wipe and it looks okay. And you know you're fine. Alright. Yeah, people were using 4% vinegar and their food wasn't lasting. Their jars were popping on the shelves, and they thought that they were going to have at least 5 years of self-storage, shelf storage, and they didn't have it because everything was popping. Alright, this is a good one. Listen. If I don't, I'll have to reuse one. This one's reused. I've reused lids too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you guys can see what I'm doing here. As you can see, I have new ones, but I do reuse lids. I think some of these are used, some of these are new. Look, I have 3. Alright. I have 3 in here, 3 new ones. That means I'm going to have to reuse 1. Let me see if I have one here. These are all smalls. Let's see if I can find one more big one. I've been reusing my lids for years. Okay, I've literally they say, to be honest with you, you really shouldn't JIC, you know what I mean, just in case, but these last, these are new, these are used, okay, and the ones that don't come out good for you, just put them in a refrigerator and try to use them, you know what I mean, before your breakfast, lunch, or whatever, you know. So, here we go. Let me see, put this on. This is going to be cold pack. And when you're putting these on, screw backwards sometimes if you have to. Like that one went on really nice. Sometimes you have to, okay, kind of screw backwards and then frontwards. Alright. And we're good to go. Let's see if you guys can see this. Yeah. Back a little further, maybe. Wow. Sheesh. Okay. And we're good to go. So I will put this into my canner. You only use 3 quarts of water in your canner, okay? Because 3 quarts is good enough for as long as we leave our meat in there. It's been time tested that 3 quarts is good, unless you are going to water bath and you're going to be water, because pressure canning is shorter time than water bathing. Now, if I was water bathing this, you water bath your meats for 3 hours, and you water bath and you always have to constantly keep water boiling on your stove in case it goes low, and you water bath fish for 4 hours. Okay, so these pints. Let me hold on. Let me get my bowl. I like to check. Oh, that's another thing I would like to tell you guys. I have I have learned throughout the years, always check behind yourself, because sometimes, especially if you've been doing it for years, being good at it, you go, and you don't realize that you missed a step. So the best thing to do is use your book. You guys see this? Use your book. Presto Canner. I got all kinds of stuff written in here. All right, so um, ground meat and pork and poultry, and it tells us 10 pounds, process at 10 pounds. It's usually 10 pounds, unless you're 1,000 and over. That's, I'll show it to you. Okay, 10-pound pressure, pints, 75 minutes. These pints are going to pressure cook for 75 minutes. You're going to pressure cook your food for 75 minutes, and quarts are 90 minutes. Okay, they're called processing. You will be processing your food. Now, when you hear processing like this, it is not the same as processed foods that you get from those big companies and everything, because you don't know what is in those processed foods, but you know what is in your food. Okay, so I'm going to put these in, and quarts are 90, pints are 75, and I'll show you guys what it's like whenever it comes out. I apologize, I'm not equipped to make like really big, beautiful videos like some people do, but I like to teach people, so I hope you appreciate it. I'll show you what it's like when it's done. Okay, I'm using special water because I have well water, and the chemicals in the well water pit my canners. I've been through a couple canners, and if you can see, there's a little hole over there, like at 1 o'clock. And that's what happens whenever you use the wrong water. So I marked that down there where you should put, this should be, if you go up to that black line, that black marker line, that's 3 quarts of water around in there. Okay. And I will put the bottom of this in, and I'll put the jars in. Okay, I just put the bottom in. Now I will go get my jars. Okay, my jars are now in. I will put on the lid, and I will let it boil until it begins to steam. And when it begins to steam, I'll let it steam for 10 minutes before I put the hula dancer on. I will put on my lid, and I can see through it. As long as you can see through this, okay, you know you're good. I think you can see, yeah. And I always put this in the front so I can get to it. Okay. And it's well greased. If you notice, this popped up immediately when I put it in. That means the steam was coming up and was starting. So there we go. As long as it locks, that means it's greased well. I oil it well. And what I'll do is I'll let this boil. I'll let this start until I start seeing steam. You'll start seeing steam coming out of this. Okay, and if you see smoke, it's coming off of the eye because I have this big pot on here. But you will see steam coming out of this. When you see that steam, wait until it steams real hard, like a factory steam. You'll know it when you hear it. And then you let it steam for 10 minutes. Okay, and while it is steaming for 10 minutes, it is actually taking the air out of your jars. That's the one part of the processing, part. I have it on 10 pounds. There's only one on here. If there was 2, it would be 15. 1 is 5 pounds. 2 is 10 pounds. And the third one, which I don't even use hardly. I used to use 15, but I'm too close to 1,000 to use 15. 15 is for people that live in like Colorado or something, you know, there's 3,000, 4,000 feet up above sea level. And when it starts steaming, real good factory steam, You let it steam for 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, you just take this and put it on. Don't worry about the steam coming out. It's not going to burn you or anything. Just make the steel go first, okay? All right. So let's wait till it steams. It's starting. Let me turn it on. Fan off. I can't hear anything. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, it's starting to steam. And if it comes out this way a little bit, it's not bad. Sometimes I wipe it off, but I don't like to mess with it too much. And but it's okay. That was my vinegar bottle. All right, it's steaming. I like to do that sometimes because sometimes when it does that, the water coming out, there we go, the water coming out this way kind of stops the pressure from, and I've seen times where canners were so old, it just kept leaving all the steam out of here, and by the time you canned your food for 45 to 90 minutes, 75 to 90 minutes, the canner can go dry. Okay, now it's steaming pretty nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, it's steaming pretty good. It's going to steam a little bit harder. Now when that happens, there we go, here it comes. Yeah, a steady stream. So what I'll do is I will start my timer for 10 minutes. There we go. That's a good steam. You let that steam for 10 minutes. Oh, it doesn't look like it's steaming in this camera, but it is. It's steaming. And I'll be back in 10 minutes. I kind of missed it, but I wanted you guys to hear how it sounds when it's blowing the air out of your jars. It sounds like one of those rides in Kennywood. A park or something, you get on those rides and you can hear the engine screaming or whatever. It seems scary to people who aren't used to it, but it's doing what it does. One more minute. Oh, I made a mistake and left it on the stove. Don't ever leave it on the stove. It's hot. Now once I put this on, this is your regulator. We call it a hula dancer. Once you put it on, don't start your timing until it begins to rock. And when it begins to rock, you can turn your stove down a little bit as not to just like blow your food apart. So if you overuse your cooking pot, your canner, and there we go. There we go. There. And that's how you put it on. Turn this off. Now, it's going to take, what I usually do is I add 5 minutes to my timing. Now, these pints take 75 minutes. Quarts take 90. So usually what I do is I put it on 80 minutes because within 5 minutes, it's because I've been canning for a long time, that rocker should start rocking. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put it on takes. I will sip my coffee and watch to see how long it takes for that thing. It's usually within, it's starting now. See? And that was like, what, a minute? If two? Now what I'll do is, since it's rocking, it's going to start rocking kind of high. That's fast. Now, I learned this from an old Italian grandma on YouTube named Buena Petiti. I think it's Buena Petita. And she said, you can turn your canner down. You don't have to boil it to death. She said, it's still processing your food. So shout out to Buena Petita, old Italian grandma. She's an excellent cook. So what I do is, now that it's gone real fast like that, I will turn this down to about 5, in between 5 and 6 on my stove. Well, I have an electric stove. And in another minute or two, you will hear that slow down. This is the part that scares people. It is okay. As long as you pray over your food and you pray over your canning, God will keep you safe, right? So, and if it doesn't slow down as much as I want it to, which it will, once the electric is slower. Gas, when you turn it up, it cooks. When you turn it off, it stops. Electric, when you turn it up, it cooks. And when you turn it off, it takes a minute to stop. Just trying to slow down a little bit. You got to be careful. You don't want it to slow down too much, but if it goes off, guess what? You got to start this whole process over. Okay, slowing down. It's looking like I might be able to go down a little bit more. Nice rock. These are the sounds that a lot of us listened to in our grandmother's house when we were little. I remember an older lady that I used to live with. She started canning. Her and her friends were learning how to can. I remember that back. I had to be about 11. And I remember back in the day, the people in the neighborhood, they were all getting into canning, and just like you and I are, okay? And I remember they were getting into canning, and they were also, I remember that back in the day, they were, I think it's early 70s, they were experimenting with jellies and wax. How many of you guys remember older people making jellies with wax? And some of you might do it today. I make jelly, but I've never used the wax or anything. But they said that wax is excellent. It'll keep it for quite a while, too. And there we go. It slowed down pretty nice. I could probably turn it down a little bit more, too, but that's a good rhythm. Yeah, that's a good rhythm. All right. And right now I have 1 hour and 16 minutes left. Toodles. Okay, and I'm back. And I'm going to take out my jars of flat breakfast sausage and show you how they came out. Here's one. Two. That one just sealed. And that's one that I used. It says, I guess I used it 4/27/25, and you heard it click, so it's sealed. Here's another one. I'll show you guys what it looks like up close. There's your sausage. Okay. That's 3. 2 more. 4. And 5. And there they are. See if I can get them a little closer. There we go. And there they are. Alrighty. And that was it. And I'm done. That was a whole box of breakfast sausage. I call the flat ones sausage patties. Yeah. So, and I'm done. And that's all it takes, guys. Let it sit. Some people let it sit overnight. You can let it sit for a couple hours until they all seal. And the ones that don't seal for you, put them in the refrigerator and gladly use them. Thanks for watching. God bless all of you guys. And can. Essie, signing off.